Today, too many Porsches to mention. Let's get right to it. Hi there. In Porsche sales today on Bring a Trailer, a repainted Saturn yellow over black 2.3 liter powered 1972 914 sold for $22,000. Originally blue, then white, this bored out engine car was likely a fair sale. An Arctic silver over Boxster red 45,000 mile 1998 Boxster sold for $24,986. Sold with the hardtop, this was a nice car and sold at a full price. Another Arctic silver car, this a 2000 911 with 71,000 miles, sold for $32,500. Posing as a wannabe GT3, complete with rear badge and door sill plates, this plain old 911 with a wing was well sold. A modified Gulf-style vinyl wrap 1982 928 sold for $29,200. To me, this is a mess, but I suppose you could toss 30 grand at a car and come away with less. This was well sold. A black 28,000 mile 2005 911S Coupe sold for $51,997. Equipped with different wheels and coilover suspension, this is a nice car, just too expensive. A midnight blue over a sea of gray 47,000 mile 2003 911 C4 Cabriolet sold for $33,000. My kind of seller. Photos with the top down and the cars in the snow. This was a 996 well purchased. Another blue 911, this a Rest of World 1979 911 SC Coupe Project car sold for $37,250. Lots of questions, little history. Originally oak green, backyard welded on flares, jacked up suspension, leaking fuel tank, something leaking from the valve covers, well sold. Another SC, this a nice looking Guards Red 1982 911 SC Targa with 82,000 miles, sold for $46,200. This is a great 10-footer, shiny, and it definitely still turns heads. Closer inspection reveals some paint issues and wear as expected. A decent car at a decent price. Another Targa, this a black over champagne 1987 with 117,000 miles, sold for $52,500. This is an above average 3.2 Targa that sold at an average price. An Arctic Silver modified 2003 911 Turbo Coupe X50 sold for $77,000. Upgraded suspension, exhaust, seats, stereo, clutch, pinned coolant pipes, all nice pieces. This was a fair price on a well-equipped 996 Turbo. A Tangerine 1970 911T Coupe sold for $61,000. This is a rather original 911T. Cracks here and there, rust here and there, drivable still. For the right person, this was a fair sale. An Aventurine Green 1996 911 C4 with 81,000 miles sold for $79,500. Custom exhaust, shocks, and springs were added to this 993, and it sits with a purposeful stance. This was a fair sale. Another Aventurine Green car, this a 2022 911 GTS Coupe with 1,300 miles, sold for $153,500. Sticker on the car was $148,000. Given the supply chain issues, this was probably a fair sale, but it's overpriced. Next, another 993 with a few more mods. This a black 1997 with 78,000 miles, sold for $95,500. Upgrades here include tunable engine mounts, custom engine tune, exhaust and muffler, 911 RS spec flywheel and transmission mounts, and more. The original wheels are also included. This was a fair sale on a nicely tuned 993. If you're enjoying this content, hit that like button, and to ensure that you receive notice about tomorrow's show, go ahead and subscribe. A white, modified 1968 912 fitted with a 2.7-liter 6 sold for $118,000. Not your everyday 912, this was designed to emulate the 911 TR. Lots of work went on here, and it seems like it was quality work. This seems also a fair sale. A repainted Saturn yellow 1974 911 Carrera sold for $101,000. Repainted from light yellow, a very slight difference in color, and now sporting sports seats, this Carrera was a fair sale, edging into bargain territory. A black 1984 911 Safari presented by a great seller sold for $150,000. Bid to $142,000 in December, this nicely prepared Safari was a fair sale. A European Viola 1993 911 40th Anniversary Edition with 111,000 kilometers sold for $216,000. Probably a fair sale. Too little data to pin it down, really. I'll show more and talk about this purple plum in today's short video. An Adriatic Blue modified 1977 911S Coupe 3-liter sold for $254,000. This extensively modified car deserves its own short, and tomorrow I'll present that. Today I'll suggest that this was a fair sale. A Polar Silver 1992 911 Carrera RS with 58,000 kilometers sold for $290,000. Initially delivered to Japan, this RS is in excellent shape, and it was a fair sale today. And look at those seats. A double-sided Porsche Audi dealer sign measuring 96 by 48 inches sold for $4,500. It's a sign. Well sold. On Cars and Bids, a seal gray over black 8,000-mile 2002 911 Cabriolet sold for $38,000. This lovely 996 is in like new condition, and this was a fair sale. On Pcarmarket, a lapis blue over a sea of gray 2002 Boxster S with 64,000 miles sold for $12,250. A steal at this price. I am envious of the buyer. Very, very well purchased. A Grand Prix white over black 1986 911 Cabriolet with 117,000 miles sold for $53,550. A rust-free, drip-free 3.2, if it is indeed as described, this was well purchased at this price. A silver 43,000-mile 1987 911 Turbo sold for $131,000. A beautiful car, this was a fair sale. A Guards Red 52,000-mile 2003 911 C4S sold for $39,250. A better than fair price for an above-average 996. Very nice. Another Guards Red car, this a 1985 928S with 66,000 miles, sold for $30,999. An extremely clean 928. This seems like it was at least a fair sale. A painting depicting a newish 911 Targa measuring 30 by 48 inches sold for $800. It's an artwork. It was a fair sale. 5 cars on Bring a Trailer were bid with reserves not met February 8th through 10th. A red 1985 911 Turbo with a slant nose conversion with 57,000 miles was bid to $69,000. Nice seats. A Maritime Blue 2019 911 Speedster with 352 miles, presented by a great seller, was bid to $367,500. An honorary mention, as this next car is a PDK, another Speedster, presented by the same seller from, I'm sure, the same client, is a Pure Blue 2011 model with 376 miles, was bid to $350,000. Not sure what they're seeking on these two. I'd say the bids should have been accepted. A 2-layer black 1989 911 Turbo S, 1 of 10, subsequently modified by Roof, with 68,000 kilometers, was bid to $355,000. Look at those seats. A Speed Yellow 16,000-mile 1996 911 Turbo was bid to $252,000. Yellow over blue. Nice. That's a wrap for today. Thanks for watching. See you tomorrow. Be well.